Good evening and welcome to EvilGinger Miniatures. One thing to point out, I was not live at 4 o'clock this morning. That was when I was awake due to the lovely heat and first created the link that set the thing up for 7 o'clock, which is my usual time. Unfortunately, the change to 7 o'clock in the evening, 7 p.m. apparently didn't take, and I didn't notice that till about 3 minutes ago. So there really wasn't an awful lot of point changing it at that point. What we were going to do today was to fill in some printed out copies of this. I don't know whether you can see this, but this is the Forgotten Ruin platoon sheet from the actual book. It's available in PDF form, and that PDF can be printed out, and I was going to print 2 copies of it. Unfortunately, Life and Plan didn't like each other, and I ended up not going out to get any printing done. I also ended up missing the gaming session that I was intending to have today, largely because I'd been up all night, thought I was going to have a nap for an hour and a half to recover, and then woke up at 5 o'clock, which was well after the event. Yeah, not heat adapted, this dwarf, not at all, and nocturnal. Not done a great deal, but we will be sticking with it with the plan, except I will be using the Mark 1 piece of paper as the platoon sheet as we do the generation. I don't know how well that will work, but that's pretty much it. I also was going to order my computer. Unfortunately, I appear to have less money than I thought I had, so I'm going to have to put that off till next month. And hopefully, the desktop I need, which would support 3 monitors and would make this so much easier than this laptop, will be coming next month, which probably means my trip to Antwerp for Crisis this year is going to get knocked on the head, because I was supposed to bought a computer and saved up afterwards to do that. That may be next year, and yeah, it's just cash flow, especially as I haven't done a great deal of work I haven't done any work for the last 6 months, possibly longer. And yeah, it's all jolly fun and the mental health, but this is not what you came for. You came for watching me rolling dice. Have dice. These were the dice that I got for my specific character, because I'm into the character and I often buy dice for people. Dice for characters when I'm really into them. And we're going to be doing the generation. We're going to be doing it on paper, the old school way. Sorry, the cursor, I only just noticed it. So, shown you the sheet, which I will have to be referring to, but we will start with the introduction. And create the squad on page 64, right. It's a very nicely colour-coded book, but I really need to put markers. There we are. 64. Right, this is actually campaign generation, as you can probably see. And so we'll start with that. Now, I know, but we'll skip that because this isn't the 1914 one. So we will, that's campaign duration. Let's get to squad. Campaign sequence. Where's the squad location? Sure, it says 64. This is the joy of dyslexia, by the way, is misreading stuff. Is it? Squad creation is actually very early in the campaign. This, by the way, is one thing I don't like about this book, is that these 2 pages are not stuck properly, and it repeats at the back at the equivalent point. And so I'm going to want 16, 17 and 18, which is really early on. As I say, may or may not be using the squad in a game, but it'll probably get used off camera for teaching me how to right, here we are, squad creation. Right, now, this is the problem with around here, is that everything is very fixed. Squad creation, which is this thing here, and first of all we have the squad, right? The squad, which is the American Ranger Fire team, is leader, Fire Team 1, which is leader, both the fire teams are a leader and three troopers, and the commander is on his own effectively. He doesn't have a team. Name generation. I will be using a online name generator, which I really ought to open up. And I'll just put the one I'm going to be using in the comments. I use this one a lot, and it produces reasonable names for the cultures that I'm familiar with, so I'm presuming that it's real names. Okay, names. Yeah. Sorry, didn't have a look at this beforehand. American English names. Canadian names, English American. There we are. That's what I'm looking for, and I am looking for male names because the squad is obviously mostly men, well, all men, because I don't think the Americans have women in frontline infantry roles, and the Rangers as a unit are very much frontline infantry roles. I have 10 names here from the generator. These are completely at random. All I did was change the settings so that it was male names only. These are the names we're working with. And I've just stuck those in the chat for people who are interested. The spacing has all gone wrong on those, but I'll be using the list and I'll be taking them down in order. So we have now names for everybody, and we have a spare. So our leader is Ryan Mitchell. Our first fighting leader is Henry Watts. Brandon Willis. William Thomas. Andrew Brown. And then we have Abraham Hall. Walter Pierce. Well, let's get this. Let's set up right, because I've written it the wrong way around. Good things, Robbers, aren't they? Ivory. Spot the dyslexia and the slow reading and writing speeds. And Isaiah Kim for the final trooper. Now, getting back to the live stream, we have your names. Don't know how well you can read that, but we have your names. Going from there, sort the ranks out in a minute. Right, we'll skip ranks and positions and that sort of thing for the moment, because I want to do the interesting bit, which is the character generation. We start with 3 known personalities in the squad, and that is so we have give them a couple of lines because this is and then we have 9 people to pick from. Well, this guy's got to be a trooper, so there'll be 6 people to pick from because there are 6 troopers. So what we're going to do is we're going to number up from 1 to 6, starting with Brandon Willis and ending with Isaiah. Isaiah, really can't read my own handwriting. This is terrible. Isaiah Kim as the 3rd. And we're going to roll this dice, which is just a standard D6. And it's 4, so let's count down 4. So that is going to be Walter Pierce. With the 1914, I'm going to do it slightly differently, and the personalities are largely going to be leader figures rather than ordinary troopers. So in the 14, you'll get the squad corporal, sergeant stroke corporal, and then you'll get the corporal stroke lance corporal as number 2, and then you'll get one other who's obviously a long service veteran and who's going to be quite a character. So we need the dice again for this bit. So people have 2 character traits, and if we duplicate, we have to roll on the knacks table. So they get 1 trait in the knack in that sense. 70 percentiles. Personally, I prefer the different colour ones because it's easier to spot across a crowded table, and you can swap the dice around when, if provided you declare in advance, if your dice are acting up, and when a gamer's dice not acting up in one way, shape, or form. So we have 49 for Mr. Mitchell, and the first one is 49. 49 is imaginative. And we'll go through what these might do later. And his second one is 50, which would also be imaginative, so we then have to roll on the knacks table instead, and that's 28, which is healthy. Then we have the first fighting leader, who is Henry Watts. So we're going to go through the same procedure with him. So 59. 59 says impulsive. Impulsive. And the second one is 46. Also imaginative. And finally, we have Trooper William Pierce, who we roll twice for. 72 for the first one. And ideally, I'd be showing you these dice, but I can't find my plug-in camera, and I was going to get a new one with the computer, but as I say, the computer's a next month thing when I've got the money for it, because there's no point buying a crappy one when really I want one that I can actually do stuff with and will support the whole hobby thing. So 72 again. 72 is friendly. And he gets another roll, and that's 70, which I believe is, oh, it's different, it's loyal. I thought that was a duplicate there. Then everybody gets a minor aspect. So I didn't realise that, so I didn't make space for it. Right, so minor. So we'll put the minor. It's very, very, very annoying. So that's the percentile roll again. These are 12 for our squad leader. Talks to self. 72 again. Loves snacks. And the last one is 93. No, that's 60. Right, I can never. 60. '63, highly strong. Different events are and pretty much the rest of that is campaign setup, but there we have my first squad. Sorry about the handwriting, but it's the occupational hazard of being me, that handwriting. And I think we'll leave that for there, but I suspect I will be playtesting this using that squad shortly. And when I can get the outside camera, I will set up a little gamey thing so I can show you what the playtesting looks like. But I hope you enjoyed that. It wasn't quite what I planned, and there were other things I needed to discuss, but we can do those another week when things have progressed. Anyway, take care everybody, and goodbye, and thank you very much for your time and your listening.